had 4 seasons of GomTV sponsored MSLs. The one that ended in March of 2008, Jaedong beat Cal. Cal actually faced a very difficult tournament semifinals against Jangbi, where Jangbi and Cal really fought for that spot, but Jaedong defeated Cal very handily in that series. 2007, we had Mind beating Bisu in the finals. That was Mind's MSL, rather. And previous to that, in July of 2007, one of the greatest series recently of recent times, Bisu beat Stork, a very, very epic Protoss versus Protoss that you can also watch a sequel to in the OSL, played in the round of 16 in the present OSL. Before that, in March of 2007, it says 2008, but 2007, we had Bisu versus Savior. Bisu beating Savior in a rather unexpected win, pulling out the Bisu build for really the first time against Savior, which Savior just didn't react to properly. Now, before then, though, we did have the era of Savior, and this is why Savior is still loved by many of us fans out there, foreign and Korean. In 2006, he was truly dominant. He beat Cylber in November, Zerg versus Zerg. That was actually my first cast. And in July of 2006, he beat Now Ra. And of course, I have the Holy War series. That was from actually the Pringles 2 MSL, but it was after they already had quite a rivalry going.
I think Nara's base is entirely down, but Nara is saved by those 2 remaining pylons. And that's elimination, guys. I don't think you guys could read that, but Savior was eliminated. He didn't GG. He was eliminated from the game.
Okay, moving on. And now we have the GomTV Avertech Intel Classic. It's a mouthful, but this is the new tournament of 2008. It evolved from the one-time GomTV Star Invitational, which only had 16 of the top players facing off against each other. That was finished in March of 2008. In the GomTV Classic, all the matches are single elimination series between 2 players, and there's televised games from the round of 128 onwards. After the round of 32, all the games are televised. All the games are actually best of 3 series between 2 players, all the way up to the round of 8. From then on, in the round of 4 and the finals, there's best of 5 series. So it's definitely very interesting. There's no group phases. It's all single elimination. I think that in some ways adds a little bit to the luck of the game, but also allows, I think, some of the new players a chance to shine because they don't have to beat a whole group to advance. They can just, quote-unquote, get lucky and beat selected players and then advance. The games are broadcast in English at the GomTV Classic by the only professional StarCraft commentator out there, Nick Tastes Plot. And here are the GomTV seasons and finalists. The Star Invitational was won by Flash, rather, beating Stork a week before he beat him in the OSL. The GomTV Classic Season 1, the only one that's finished, was won by Jaedong, who defeated Flash 3-0 in what was surprisingly not a very close series at all. Currently, we're in the GomTV Classic Season 2, and as of this season, games are now KESPA sanctioned. We move on to the World Cyber Games. World Cyber Games, of course, are played by many nations in the world, but the Korean qualifiers are especially watched closely. They're televised from the round of 24 onwards to the semifinals. The top 3 finishers in the semifinals represent Korea. And in some ways, this tournament's often said to be more competitive than, quote-unquote, the real WCG because of just how high the competition level is. The 2008 representatives from Korea are Jaedong, Luxury, and Stork.
Somewhere, but not necessarily much. Oh, and Stork being brilliant here. He's playing, oh man, 1 base into carriers. Stork, you dinosaur monster, you pterodactyl monster. Stork decides to do that little trick where he attacks his own units. Oh, he's attacking his own Corsair. Yes, he's going to use the splash to try to kill the Wraith off. I think he's going to be successful if he manages to do the splash correctly. Oh, Stork pulling off a mini Pimpest play. GG, yo, coming from 4GG.
Now, the US qualifiers actually do have a lot of attention also. They took place earlier this month in 2008, and congratulations to them. Diggity and Moletrap were the official broadcasters. You can watch them live at wcglive.com. I won't spoil the player who won, but there's only one person who will represent the United States in StarCraft. The World Cyber Games has been played from 2000 onwards, and in StarCraft, Korean have won first place in every tournament. And usually they win top 3 places, actually. Past winners include Go Rush, Boxer, someone called Ogogo, never heard of, Zellos, For You, I Love U, V, and Stork, and many think that Stork will win it again this year. Moving on to the other televised games, there are a lot of other games that occur besides the major tournaments, and I'm not going to be able to cover all of them, but here are some that do appear in my YouTube channel and also in the channels of some of the other StarCraft commentators. In general, if it's not part of the OSL, MSL, Pro League, it's going to be another tournament, quote unquote, which usually are less serious and more fun in some ways. There's the Pro League All-Stars, for example. In between seasons, the top players from the Pro League are chosen and put into 2 mixed teams to face off to everyone's amusement. There's the Rival Battle, where pairs of pro teams who are supposed to be rivals face off, such as, for example, OGN and NBC. Both of them are TV networks. There's free reign in those games to distract players before games with funny booth people, such as I believe once a sumo wrestler, massages for the home team from beautiful booth girls, and all sorts of other shenanigans. There's the teammate attack, where teammates get to play each other, and we often see some amusing games there. And moving on to some other televised games, there's the Battle.net Attack or I Love Star, and in this series, there are games played between the pro gamers and random Joes from the internet who get to challenge them. And these games are often filled with the pro gamers off-racing, doing very strange plays, and also pranks. For example, one of the most famous was when NC Yellow was defeated by a Protoss player on Battle.net Attack. At the end of the game, the Protoss player was starting to ask Yellow, well, I beat NC Yellow, right? Does this mean I get to join KTF? And NC Yellow was sort of confused and just mumbling, well, you know, you're going to have to play in the Courage tournament, and you're going to have to file an application and do all this. And afterwards, he was allowed to talk on the telephone with the winner of the game, which usually happens after games you're allowed to talk to the other person. And it turned out he was playing Now Raw the entire time, his teammate on KTF, so it was Now Raw who actually beat him. On the other hand, none other than Stork was beaten by a random person on the internet playing Zerg, and whose 3-hatch Zergling rushed him, and Stork actually lost the game. Afterwards, he talked to him on the telephone, and the Zerg player actually said his main race was Terran. He was playing off-race as Zerg. So go figure. And Saber's actually... Saber just nuked his entire army there, guys. So Saber has 2 ghosts inside of the enemy base here, and he's launching 2 nukes now. He's gonna get double nuked. He got double nuked, and his hatchery is down here. OMG. And there's also the All-Star matches, where there's a bunch of single elimination tournaments, either with a couple of players or sometimes just with 2 players for large monetary prizes. These are often picked for the best rivalries in StarCraft history. For example, Nada versus Savior faced off several times, and in the, I believe it was the Shinhan Masters, Nada got some sweet revenge against Savior, who just had defeated him in the OSL. Perennially, Boxer and Yellow face off very often. You know, there's a lot of other pairs that I'm sure will happen soon, such as Flash versus Jadong, one of, I think, the best rivalries that exist today. There's skins tournaments, which are similar in that pro gamers will play for money, which depends on how many games they win in a row against each other. And finally, there's the Blizzard Worldwide Invitational and BlizzCon, 2 Blizzard-sponsored tournaments where a couple of Korean pro gamers are invited to pretty much beat up on top American and European gamers. And then there's Pimpest Plays, which everyone loves. You'll see them often in my video lists. SC Legacy made top 10 lists from 2001, 2002, 03, 04, 05, and 06, and these have been really recorded down now as some of the best plays in StarCraft. I like to do casts of these games because usually, despite them being focused around a single play, usually they are games of very high caliber, which are generally quite pimp overall. You could check out my YouTube playlists for lists of games by year that I've casted for Pimpest Plays. For example, all the Pimpest Plays in 2004 that I've casted will be in one list. And I believe SC2GG.com may make Pimpest playlist for 07 and 08, so stay tuned for that.
next to his barracks that might have helped him from this counterattack here, but Cholera has run around Nada's attack on his front base, and now he's all in Nada's base. Nada's forced to use his SCVs. He doesn't have a lot of SCVs. He's going to have to kill off these drones with just SCVs here. His Marines are getting picked off here. I believe those 3 eggs will be full of Zerglings popping out. Here comes the Zerglings popping out. Nada's Marines are not being protected. Nada's Marines are going to go down here. Cholera and Nada, GG's. So this was the #1 Pimpest play of 2005. It was called Eye for an Eye.
Here we come to the end of my introduction video. Thank you guys for watching, and for all the new viewers out there of StarCraft, if you have any further questions about professional gaming, please leave them in the comments of this video, and I'll try to answer them as they come. Of course, my other viewers are free to correct me or to help answer these questions also. Thank you very much to all my old fans, and hello to all the new fans of professional StarCraft out there. I will be releasing a video in the coming days, which I call Cholera's State of the Commentary, where I'll be making a lot of shoutouts, a lot of questions from answering a lot of questions from my fans, and a lot of other things about myself. So stay tuned for that video. Hope you guys have enjoyed.